Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast. This is How To with Dr. D, where I will give you some unsolicited relationship and dating advice. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is part two of our discussion regarding dating. The last time we came together, we talked about how to land the number, or how to, during that first meet, kind of navigate the situation where you can receive her phone number. And again, this particular relationship advice is towards men. Yes, the women can always benefit from what we're sharing, but this is specifically relationship advice for men. We're going to do something different. Oftentimes, when you hear relationship advice being given, it's usually given from a male perspective, but they're giving advice to females. And so I'm lending my perspective so that males can benefit from dating or having at least a successful dating life and relationship. And ultimately, if the goal is marriage, I'm I'm here to help you navigate that process as well. And so we're here. We're here to be a support to you. We know that this is an ultra sensitive thing, men receiving advice. But there's a lot of men that I know that are open to receiving advice and wisdom. They're just selective from whom they'll receive it from. So I'm hoping that we can bond, we can develop a relationship, at least virtually speaking, unless you desire to be a client, and then we can definitely develop a relationship of trust where you will receive what it is that I'm saying. And again, I'm coming from a female perspective. And so to me, that's the best information that you can really gain from a female, because you're trying to pursue a female. So I'm here for it. I'm here to give you the game that you need to know on how females think and how they process and how they may feel, especially a certain caliber of a female, if you know what I mean. Yeah, certain women, it'll be easy breezy, doesn't require a lot of work. But if you want a certain caliber of female, you should listen to these broadcasts, because I believe that you will land her if you would just only take heed. Only take heed, okay? So let's talk about it. How to handle the first call with the one that you're interested in. Remember, last broadcast, we talked about how to get the number, how to pretty much just introduce yourself, and how to get the person at least focus on you, and getting her to be open enough to share that information with you, at least giving you a chance, right? So we talked about that. So we hope that you were able to watch that broadcast. If you weren't able to watch it, feel free to go watch that broadcast first, because this is a continuation of the conversation. Okay, I'm not going to do recaps. It just makes it easier for me if I just continue the conversation as if this is a fresh one and we're just going to take off as if you watched the first broadcast. So this is part two. Okay, so remember, the last time you text her to confirm that, number one, the number is good. And also you wanted to confirm when is a good time for you to call. That's the main thing. I mean, we just going to assume that she's going to give you a number that's a working number. But the main thing is you're trying to determine when is a good time to call, because you don't want to, I mean, you can just randomly call her, but nowadays people are busy. And when you're dealing with a certain caliber of woman, she has a lot on her plate. She's successful, or she has career goals. So she's on a path um, towards success. So she's busy. She may have children. She may not have children. She may be working full time. She may have a business. So she has a lot going on. So that's why it's important that you text her to confirm when is it a good time for you to call, because you want her undivided attention. And so that's why you're doing that. And when you do that, trust me, she's going to be like, oh, he's so respectful of my time. That's one of the things that she's going to notice about you when you text her first before calling her. She's going to notice that you're being very considerate of her time. And trust me, it's going to give you points. All right. And that's what you're looking for. You're trying to score points because you're trying to win her over. You're just not trying to get her. You're just not trying to smash. It's not a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You're trying to win her over. And so I'm trying to give you some good tips on really establishing a strong foundation for a relationship that can build into marriage is what I'm trying to provide for you, for those that are interested. And for those that are not, then, listen anyway. Hey, you may one day come to that place that you really want to catch or to find a quality woman. And this is the work that you're going to have to put in. And guess what? It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Trust me, it is. It's going to be worth it. All right. So you text her, you know, keep your word. Whatever time has been established, make sure that you keep your word. Because again, in everything that you do going forward, trust me, she's watching you. If she's interested in you, she's watching you. She's looking for you to be the example that she know that you can be, and she hopes that you can be. And so she's watching you. So if she says 8 o'clock, make sure that you call her at 8 o'clock. She says 7:30, make sure that you call her at 7:30. If something happens, and when I say something happened, I'm not talking about another female called you in the meantime, and you were caught off guard and you were in the conversation, and so you forgot to call her, because you were distracted. No, that's not an important something that may come up. Something important that may come up that may get in the way of that would be something that I would consider a 911. Again, if this is a woman that wowed you, and if this is somebody that got your attention to the point where you were willing to make that first move to ask for her number, that means that you're really interested in her. That means that something about her drew you in. Okay. So if you want to explore that, you don't want to throw that away, because that may be a once in a lifetime for you. So when I say something important, I'm talking about a 911 situation. And if a 911 situation happens, then you must text her. If you can't call her, even if you can call her, you just have to make it brief and ask if you could reschedule. That's what I would recommend. But make sure that you do that. Make sure that you call and reach out or text and let her know that you're not able to meet that scheduled call because of whatever the reason, but you definitely want to reschedule. It is an emergency. All right. So let's say that that's not the case. You were able to call at the time frame that you specified that you would call, you guys agreed upon. All right. So you take your deep breath and you call her. All right. Make sure that you call her. If you're nervous, work through the nerves. If you're starting to feel anxiety, work through the anxiety. And again, I'm talking to men that, this is not your norm. You're introverted, you're shy, you're intimidated by powerful women. And so, you may find this process tedious and very intimidating. And you may be more inclined to gun for the low hanging fruit, the woman that doesn't require all of that. And so what I'm trying to do is elevate your mindset, right? If you want Mrs. Right, and if you want that somebody that has the quality, the gems, the stones, the jewels that you really want in a life partner, this is why you're pursuing what you're pursuing. If it's just low hanging fruit that you seek, no, you may not have to do all of this. You may not have to do all this, but if you're looking for that quality woman, you know what I mean, that high caliber woman, then yes, you're going to have to do this. And it may make you feel a little bit intimidated at first, but you're going to push through that. You can do it. All right. You can do it. Trust me, you can do it. Just breathe, right? Inhale, exhale. All right. Inhale, exhale, breathe, and then call her. All right. So she'll pick up the phone, right? Let me give you some template as to how you can go about this conversation, just to make things go a little bit more smoothly. We don't want you to shoot for the hip. So I'm going to help to guide you through this process. You greet her. She picks up the phone. You say hello, good evening, whatever time of day is. May I speak to, I'll use my name. May I speak to Kesha? You don't want to assume. You don't want to assume that it's her, because again, you're trying to eliminate any missteps. It could be your sister, could be her mother, it could be her daughter, it could be her son, It could be somebody else picking up the phone, right? And even at that time schedule, because like I said, she has a lot on her plate. Maybe she is visiting somebody, maybe her phone is just laying there, whatever. But again, she's anticipating the call. So just to avoid any, funny business, just make sure that you ask for her, even if she or whomever picks up the phone. You're saying, hello, good evening. May I speak to Kesha? Okay. Remember, you got her name when you got her number, so that you at least should know her name. And she's going to respond, this is Kesha, or she'll respond speaking. And then you say, hi, Kesha, let's say your name is Ronald. Hey, this is Ronald, and we met at that gas station today. And she'll say, oh, yeah, how are you? And then you're going to respond, I'm good, even better, since I'm talking to you. Now, this is a way that you can flatter her. These are ways now you want it to be authentic, and you want it to be natural, and you want it to flow. If it's unnatural for you, then just say, I'm good. I'm really good right now. I'm so happy that I was able to reach you. Whatever is natural in terms of the jargon and the language that you may use that. But this is a segue where you can make a compliment. You can compliment her again. All right. I didn't plan. You can say, it's true, you made my day. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm so excited. And just be open about how you feel. I think that it will help to reassure her that not only are you just interested because she's a beautiful woman, but you're trying to make her feel special, right? You're trying to make her feel special from the onset, because it's going to cause, if she has any guards up, which most women do, because women don't want to be taken advantage of. They don't want to be hurt. And again, men do, most of the time, they do most of the pursuing. And some people pursue for different reasons. And it's not always genuine, nor is it to establish something serious. And so she wants to know that you're serious. And so you're letting her know that this is something special for you. The mere fact that she gave you her number when she didn't have to, the mere fact that you all are on you're having a conversation right now, is making your day. Okay. So when you express that to her, she may say, you know what, you're not so bad yourself. Or she may say, you know what, and just start giggling. Or she may just start blushing over the phone, but it's going to come through in her tone that you flattered her in that moment. And then you can ask her, well, how are you doing? And wait for her response. You're going to ask her how she's doing. You're going to wait for her response. And remember, during this whole interaction, you're going to be considerate, you're going to be polite, and you're going to be a gentleman. Okay? You're going to be a gentleman, not just through this conversation, this telephone conversation, but throughout your dating life, throughout if this is the one, throughout your marriage. So you're setting the tone that you're a gentleman. And that's something that maybe you're still struggling with, or something that you haven't quite, established as far as your character. I'm trying to bring you up. I'm trying to elevate you. I'm trying to elevate your consciousness, especially today's men. Today's men, unfortunately, a lot of them are not gentlemen. They're not polite, and they're not considerate. But I'm going to challenge you in that area. So throughout this whole process, just make sure that you're polite, make sure that you're a gentleman, and that you handled her with care, because it's going to make you stand out. It's going to make you stand out, because a lot of men aren't. So that's what I'm telling you, and I know what I mean. A lot of men are inconsiderate. A lot of men are very disrespectful at times, especially when women don't move like they want them to move, or they don't respond the way that they want them to respond. They will say things, call them out their name, be inconsiderate, be disrespectful. If they don't pick up the phone, they become mean, and that sort of thing. So you're going to maintain, your character and your integrity throughout this whole process, and you're going to be polite, even when she's not polite. You're going to lead in this relationship with your politeness, with you being a gentleman and being considerate of her. Okay. All right. So that's the side note. You're asking her, how are you? And you're waiting for her to respond. Now, contingent upon her response, you're going to go with the flow. So when she responds, you go with the flow. And let's say if she says, my day is okay, I'm all right. It's just some things that I'm, kind of, trying to manage, and da 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 da. And but she sounds like she could use some encouragement. Then that's your that's your green light to encourage her, to say, oh, wow, you know what? I hope it gets better. Don't dig deep. Like, don't say, well, what is it? Because you don't want to take the conversation right now. This first phone call is the establishing who I am in terms of character call. It's character building call. That's what it is. You're not trying to be a therapist right now. You're not trying to be a counselor. You're not trying to be the rescue engine number 9. You're not trying to do any of that. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that, there might be opportunities for you to help, but right now you're not trying to, because you're not trying to be friend zone. You're not trying to be friend zone. You're trying to establish a relationship, but right now you're just trying to establish your personhood. You're trying to establish your character. You're trying to help her to see that you are someone that she can entertain and potentially be someone that can grow into a friend, into a partner, and etc. She just needs to see the potential. You're giving her a little bit of, you're not going to overwhelm her, because it can go bad real quick if you start digging too deep too soon. So I just keep it surface and say, man, I'm sorry that it's not, I hope it goes better, or hope, whatever it is works out. And she may say, okay, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. Right. All right. So after that, again, you're still kind of going with the flow, but you're going to transition it, and you're going to ask her, I'm sorry, before you ask her that, she may ask this. She may ask you a question. So let's open up the door for any questions that she may have for you. She may ask you, why were you interested in her? Most women will ask that. Now, it's not a sign necessarily for insecurity, but they're curious. They're curious out of all the women, because we know, statistically speaking, that there's more women than men that are available, especially for dating and marriage. All right. So we are aware of that. Women are aware of that. Men are aware of that. We're all aware of that. So she may ask you what made her stand out. She may ask you, why were you interested? Why did you ask for a number? Tell her the truth. Tell her the truth. Tell her that, you saw her and you thought that there was something special about her that you were interested in learning more about. Don't get sexual. Don't get off to the left. Just be honest. I saw you and I thought that you would be somebody that I want to really get to know. Somebody special. You have something special. I saw something special, that I want to learn more about. And so that's why I wanted to, it was just you stood out. And that's going to build her. If she did have any things about her, issues about her self-confidence, that's going to help to build her up. Even if it's indirectly, you're going to just point the fact out that, wow, you're special, and it's something special about you. I don't know you enough, but it kind of motivated me to get your number so that I can discover what it is that's special about you. Right. And so that's going to open her up. And then ask her, as she may say, what would you like to know? Blah, 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 blah. She may or may not. She just may just be flattered in that moment after that comment. And then it may allow you to segue into, tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, tell me a little bit about yourself. Now that you've let her know that it's something special about you, tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, try to lead in it. I know that she may have tons of questions for you, but I'm not telling you to push off her questions or whatever. Listen to her and flow, but make sure that you ask these questions, because you are on a mission. You said to her that you thought it was something special about her. So you want to make sure that you ask the questions, right? So that you can get those answers to see what it is that's special about her. All right. So you're going to ask her to tell me about yourself. Now listen to her and allow her to share a little bit about herself. All right. And just remember, during that conversation over the phone, mind you, this is still over the phone. So you need to remember everything that she tells you, because now she's introducing herself. Right. And if you're trying to build something, you have to remember these things. You can't forget. And if you're a person that's not good with remembering details like that, then this is an opportunity, since it's over the phone, for you to write it down. Now, I know that I'm dealing with men, and I know you don't like any homework, but if you are getting to know this person and you're serious about really getting to know this person, and you see a potential for a future, get a journal and begin to write down these things about her. okay, and about your journey. Because at the end of the day, if it does lead to something special, you want to remember all these nuances. You want to remember that. You want to remember this. This is something you're going to look back on and it's going to make you smile. Because if this is something special, I'm telling you, you're going to want to remember this. So try your best to remember everything that she's saying. And if it helps, write it down if that's going to help you to remember. Now, if she says something that you didn't understand, then and there's a moment where you can kind of interject, then do so because you want to try to get an understanding. So the best way to do that is to practice active listening. So, and the way you practice active listening, if you're not familiar with it, is you say, "I'm sorry, did you? I think I heard you say," and then repeat what you thought you heard, and then ask, "Did I hear you correctly?" Okay, so that's the way that you practice active listening. You're repeating what you think you heard. You're not concluding, you're not drawing to conclusions, you're not judging, you're practicing. You can say, "Let me practice active listening." You can say that even so that she knows that that's not the case. When women do it, sometimes men have a tendency to think that she's twisting words. No, she's just simply repeating what she thought you said. That's not twisting of words, or that's not judging or anything like that. It's actually a practice that's called active listening. Okay. But not everybody's privy to communication on that level. So sometimes you have to, so that's if you heard something that she said, because again, you're trying to gather this information. And by the way, that's the purpose for dating. It's to gather data to determine if that person is not only worth your time, but if that person is the one that's worth building and sharing your time with and building a relationship. Okay. So once you've said that, let's say something you heard, you wasn't quite sure what she said or what she meant by what she said, you can ask for clarity and then she'll clarify it for you. Now, she may in turn ask you the same thing. And of course, you want to share the information with her. Now, again, you're taking note to what she said because you're going to give her the same amount of information. Right now, you're giving her surface information. You're not telling her about anything monumental in terms of, when I was little, I was bullied and this and that. No, you're not telling her anything about any scars, any trauma, nothing like that. You're not, I broke up with somebody, no, you're giving her very surface information, general information, stuff that you can find on your Facebook page. Like, you know what I mean? In that about section. It's pretty much what you're providing. And if she provided whatever she provided, you're going to provide the same thing. You're going to provide the same information, such as your name. Now, if you say your name, I want you to say your name in its fullness. I want you to say your first and your last name. Well, my name again is, Ronald. We said it right, Ronald Baller. Okay, Ronald Baller. Okay. If she didn't say her last name, if she didn't provide her name, but I want you to provide your name because again, you're building a foundation. You want her to know who you are, but you're being strategic in what you say right now, right? But if she didn't say her last name, which I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't, and okay, Kesha, and say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last name," or "I don't think you told me your last name. What is your last name again?" Then let her share it. Kesha Pulliam, okay, from the Cosby Show. Kesha Pulliam, okay, okay, cool. Okay, so again, it's Ronald Baller. Okay, I'm 45. Okay. I'm a father of, okay, so if you happen to be a parent, that's something that you should share immediately. And the reason being is because it's who you are. It's something that's not going to change. It's something that is in stone. You're going to be a parent. All right. So she should be made aware of that because everyone should be given an option to choose what it is they want to deal with. And if she doesn't want somebody that has a ready-made situation, such as children, then she has an option to say, I'm opting out of this. I don't want a man that already has children. So you're providing that information right away. Because again, that's something that if she was to look you up on Facebook, she'll be able to discover that anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's just better to give it to her from the onset so that she can make up her mind if this is something that she can deal with or not. But it's definitely who you are, and it's general information, right? I'm a father of one, I'm a father of two. You don't have to tell I'm a father of Jerry and John, or I'm a father of twins. I mean, you don't have to go into that. Just simply say I'm a father of one, a father of two, I'm a father of two boys, I'm a father of two girls, I'm a father of two children, whatever, but just generalize it. All right, just generalize it. I live in this area, or I've been living in this area for X amount of years. I work at, I've been employed, da, da. You don't have to go into the amount of time that you've been employed. That to me is not, as important right now. So you can just say, I work for so and so. Again, information that she can get online. Or I'm a CEO of, or you can say I'm also a small business owner if you're doing both, you know. Now, after that, she may ask you, what your intentions are. Answer the question. Because I think most people want to know that. Again, it's the same thing. Why did you ask for my number? Now, what are your intentions? So if she asks about your intentions, then tell her. If you're looking for love, marriage, if you're looking to find a purpose partner, those are good reasons to obviously ask her for her number, because you're in pursuit of love and purpose and a long lasting relationship. And then ask her the same, what are your intentions in a relationship? If that's what you want to, what are you aspiring for? Are you looking for a relationship? That's something that you can ask her as well. And the other piece that you can ask her after you've gotten all the intention stuff out of the way is you can ask her about what her interests are, what her interests are. And again, if that's something that you haven't thought about, that's something that you need to think about. You should be able to convey what your interests are. If you're into reading, if you are an avid reader, if you're into entertainment, most people are, movies, music, sports, what hobby, if you have a hobby, share that hobby. I have a hobby that involves whatever, cooking, traveling, whatever your interests are, share those interests with her. And again, if this is something that can't come from the head and you haven't thought about it, then that's something that you need to think about before calling her. Write them down so that, or try to remember them so that you can bring them, bring them up when the time presents itself, because that's usually, again, to getting to know each other, it's important to know what people are interested in. All right. And also you can ask, hopefully she'll ask you or you'll ask her. You're trying to gather her information. She's going to ask you, and ask her, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or you can ask, what are your short-term goals? You know what I mean? Those are some other questions that you should ask that will help you to find out what's so special about her, because that's your goal. You're trying to discover what's special. So you need to know what her short-term goals are. Perhaps you need to know where you see yourself in 5 years. Maybe that's a more of an intense question, maybe a question for next time. But at the beginning, short-term goals are fine. Or you can just simply ask her, what are her favorites? Favorite food. You can ask her what her favorite food, favorite music, favorite movie, favorite color, favorite book, just favorite thing. You can ask her what her favorites are. And then from there, you can begin to flow from the conversation. So if she says, I love to travel, my favorite place to travel is Jamaica. I love the Caribbeans. I love the Caribbeans. I love, and then from there you can say, you know what, I went there last year, I went there for my first time, then you can begin to share some little tidbits about yourself and kind of reveal that, this is somewhere that you've been before, you have this in common, I love Jamaican food. And it can the conversation can be, begin to expand, right? Just based upon the information that you guys are sharing. Your favorite movie. Yeah, that movie. I love that movie. I remember the first time I saw that movie, blah, 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 whatever. You can build off the things that you are sharing and begin to provide more insight to one another, just to see how much you are in common than not. And that's a good thing. Another thing that you can ask, again, in terms of travel, you can ask where you've been. Like I said, you can extend the conversation. Another thing you can ask is, when was your last serious relationship? because that's a very important question to ask, because again, if somebody just broke up with someone, then you know where you stand. If somebody literally just came out of a relationship, you know that at this point the best thing you can do is build a friendship. I'm not saying that you can't romantically date her, but she's going to need some time. So you can decide, depending on just how special you feel that she is, you can either determine, you know what, I'm just going to build a friendship with her, and I'm going to just take a risk, rather than just take a deep dive into a relationship, because, it may be a problem if she just got out of a relationship, a serious one, not just dating. Now you're asking serious for a reason, because you're trying to gauge her availability, whether she's really emotionally available or not, without making a judgment. Because that's just, again, if the relationship was serious, then she put her heart into it. If it's serious, right? If it isn't, it's not going to be mentioned. So again, we're trying to decipher whether it's in, again, dating to be dating, or maybe she wasn't dating at all, or whether she literally just got out of a serious relationship. If a relationship was, I would say within the last, if it was less than a year, then that's still, you can still be cautious, but you can still date her. But she needs more time. If it's been more, a year or more since the serious relationship, then it's okay. You can proceed even on a romantic level if it gets to that point. If it gets that, because at this point, you're still trying to make the determination if that's what you want to do. All right. And the last one is, are you ready for another one? Okay. So are you ready for a serious relationship? And that's something that you can ask, because again, the reason why you're asking is because you're trying to, if this is where you are right now, and I'm really speaking to those that that's what you want a serious relationship, you're trying to build something serious, you're looking for Mrs. Right. And so you want to be honest, are you ready for a serious relationship? Do you think that you're ready for one? And again, she's going to answer that question based upon her response. It'll be good. And then you can say, hey, well, when is the next time that when am I going to see you again? Okay, so if the answer is, oh, I'm ready, yeah, that relationship that was 5 years ago, or that relationship was over a year ago, or that relationship was a year ago, whatever, I'm absolutely ready for something serious. Okay, great. When is the next time that I can see you again? When can I see you again? And she'll say, oh, okay, yeah, I would love to take you out on a date. And that's when you can kind of navigate into asking her out on a date. I strongly recommend, and I do recommend, that you see her again face to face. It's important. Try not to build a relationship just over the phone. It's important that you guys have a little bit of face to face time. Not a whole lot, but just at least your initial, because that was kind of you saw her and you were interested, you got your number, and you went your separate ways. Have a moment in time where you're able to spend actual time with her before you start having ongoing phone conversations. And my rationale for that is that you just want to make sure that the chemistry is there. You just want to make sure that you guys are vibing and you're on the same page with in terms of what you want, for establishing a serious relationship, and that you both are indeed open to that. And some of that you can't gather over the phone. You need to see body language. You need to see, and again, some people, depending on where you are, if you're a person and you happen to meet this person online, is different. I'm dealing with face to face. We'll talk about online the next session, and then we'll talk about some strategies that you can use to kind of get the same vibe and the same momentum online that what I'm speaking about face to face. But we're going to talk about face to face, and then the next time we'll talk about online, and then we'll continue the conversation. All right. So you've asked a question. Hopefully you were able to get a date in terms of the actual calendar date, the day, the time that you guys are going to meet, and the where. You were able to figure that out, or you can tell her to think about it, and then you can schedule another time to call her back so that you guys can. But I would say just go ahead and just land it. Just if you're going to do it, then go ahead and just establish a date, schedule the date. You don't want too much time to go. You want her to know that you're interested and that you're not trying to play games, right? And so that's why you need to seal the deal during that conversation, during the first conversation. I've successfully navigated through the first telephone conversation. We seem to be on the same page. We have a lot of things in common. This person is open. They're ready for a serious relationship. Then why not meet, right? Then why not? She's going to know that you're serious. Trust me. She's going to know, not that you're rushing it, but that you're serious to know more and to learn more and to see if this is something that you want to do in terms of building something with her, because she's indicated that she's ready for something serious, and you're also going to confirm that you are also looking for something serious. And just like you asked her when the last serious relationship, you're going to answer the same thing. So if you're under the 6 months, under the 1 year, then that's something that you need to articulate, but you can let her know that, this is something that you thought through, and this is something that that you're over. So you can reassure her, even if it's less than that you're really ready to move forward. And and again, you're not comparing the women. Don't do that. Don't degrade the person. Don't do that. Don't do anything or say anything negative about your ex ever, never, never, because she's going to say to herself, well, if she can do that to her, if he can do that to her, then he can do it to me. All right, that's what she's going to think. So try not to trash your ex, or try not to trash your children's mother. Try not to do that, because that, trust me, is an indicator that either you don't respect women, or more than likely you'll do the same. If this situation doesn't work out, you may do that to her as well. So it speaks to your character. So try to avoid doing that. You guys are going to establish the date, the day, the time, the location, and then you are going to meet. All right, so make sure you're there on time. Make sure you look nice. Make sure you got your hair cut. Make sure that you're ready to impress her. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to impress her, because you're trying to make a long-lasting impression. This is going to be your first, so you want to start out right. First of many. That's what I'm believing for you. Okay, so that pretty much ends the conversation about your first call and how to set your first date, make your first date. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask below, and or inbox me for question. If you're interested in coaching, I am available. My name is Dr. Kesha Diaz. I am a life coach. I am a Christian counselor, as well as a motivational speaker. Impacting Mindsets Global is the name of the company. I'm global. That's me. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to like this video. Feel free to share it, and or subscribe to the channel if it's YouTube, and or like the page if it's Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wait for the next one, which number 3 we'll do tomorrow, which we will share. We will continue the conversation, but we're going to deal with people that are dating online, on how you can go about landing that first conversation, that first telephone call, and all that good stuff. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time. Bye.